Greetings, everyone. The topic we will be exploring today is the Watershed Safety Report, Vale Implementation Area. In the next report, we will take a closer look at the importance of staying safe in the Vale site and how we can make sure our watershed activities are safe. First, let us briefly introduce the background of the Tamsui River as our implementation site. The Tamsui River is a beautiful body of water that provides a venue for a variety of water sports activities, but we must emphasize the importance of water safety. It is not only about personal safety, but also about the lives and health of others. The Tamsui River is not only a beautiful river, it is also an ideal venue for outdoor canoeing, allowing participants to enjoy the sport and at the same time increase their knowledge and appreciation of nature and culture. The waters where we will be canoeing are located in the lower reaches of the Tamsui River, from Guandu to the mouth of the sea. It contains a variety of ecological and historical cultures. The next point we would like to make about the importance of a water safety program is the following. The first is to keep participants safe, regardless of age, skill, or experience. Every participant should be able to enjoy the activity in a safe environment. The second is to prevent accidents and dangers that may be associated with water accidents, such as drowning and rafting. Reminding participants to be prepared and alert beforehand can minimize the risk of accidents. The third is to protect oneself and others. Water safety is not only about individuals, but also about the people around them. Safe behaviors by participants can prevent unnecessary hazards and help when needed. The fourth is environmental protection. Safe behavior should also extend to activities that do not affect the ecological balance and ensure the long-term sustainable use of waters. Finally, there is law and responsibility. Participants should comply with relevant safety regulations and guidelines. This not only protects you, but also avoids legal risks. Next, we would like to talk about the risk conditions of the natural environment of the Tamsui River. Since the Tamsui River is under the influence of tides, the river is heavily silted up, and under the influence of the northeastern monsoon winds in the winter, it is prone to waves even in the inland rivers, and the low temperatures in the winter also increase the risk of engaging in water activities. Therefore, if you want to engage in safe canoeing activities in the estuarine waters of the Tamsui River, you need to investigate whether the natural conditions of the waters meet the conditions of low-risk waters for water activities. From this chart, we can understand that when engaging in water activities, the suitable time and place for launching will be evaluated according to its different natural conditions, including wave height, current speed, wind speed, water temperature, tidal range and slope. Therefore, based on the low-risk criterion in the above chart, the more suitable time for boating in the Tamsui River Basin is between June and August. In terms of aquatic life risk, due to the fact that Tamsui River estuary is located at the junction of freshwater and seawater, it is rich in nutrient salts and has abundant fish resources because of the constant change of salinity. By understanding the types of aquatic organisms in freshwater rivers, you can choose the right equipment for your water activities to avoid aquatic attacks. In addition, the environmental risk is that the section of Tamsui River from Quan Yuan Bridge to the mouth of Tamsui River is characterized by mud flats or silt land due to the gradient change of the bottom bed, resulting in the slow flow of this section of the river, which often reveals a large area of swampy land during low tide, which is not favorable for the docking of vessels. In the past, the Tamsui River estuary was a place for sharks and green turtles. Because the Tamsui River was not polluted in the early years, the estuary was rich in fisheries, and poultry and livestock carcasses would float out of the Taipei Basin, which induced many sharks to enter the river at high tide to forage, and then swarmed into the sea near Shaloan at low tide. Therefore, there were records of shark attacks on human beings during the Japanese colonial period. It can be seen from this diagram that at the outlet of the Tamsui River, there is a concave bank at the Tamsui end, where the current is stronger, which is not conducive to the accumulation of sediment, and there is a convex bank at the Bali end, so a swamp is formed at the dugout end of the Bali end, and a large amount of sediment is found at low tide. As can be seen from this picture, at dredge end of Pat Mile end, marshes are formed at low tide and a large amount of sediment is present. From this picture, it can be seen that fishing boats are stranded on the sand at low tide, which is not conducive to the conduct of water sports activities. Next, we will explain the 4 components of water safety literacy, including self-assessment, environmental assessment, self-rescue capability, and rescue capability. On self-assessment. Self-assessment is the first step in ensuring safety in the water. We need to know our swimming ability, health status, and ability to participate in specific water activities. We will provide a demonstration of self-assessment methods and procedures to ensure that each participant is able to assess his or her own condition. Self-assessment is the process by which individuals reflect on and make judgments about their own abilities, status, knowledge, and skills. Through self-assessment, people are able to recognize their own strengths and weaknesses so that they can make appropriate decisions and actions. The role of self-assessment in water safety: the first is to determine suitability. Self-assessment helps participants understand their swimming ability and water skills. This helps determine which activities are appropriate to participate in to avoid exceeding one's abilities and to minimize hazards. Secondly, to identify health conditions. Self-assessment allows participants to recognize if they are medically fit to participate in aquatic activities. Some health conditions may increase the risk of drowning, etc., so it is important to identify them in advance and take appropriate measures. Thirdly, to avoid overconfidence. Sometimes people may overestimate their abilities and overlook the potential dangers of water activities. Through self-assessment, participants are able to assess themselves more objectively and avoid dangerous situations caused by overconfidence. Fourthly, personal responsibility. Self-assessment emphasizes the participants' active involvement in their own safety. It encourages participants to take responsibility for their own safety rather than relying solely on others or external assistance. Finally, vigilance. Through continuous self-assessment, participants are able to remain vigilant and sensitive to their own situation and surroundings, thus responding more quickly in dangerous situations. Next, we will explain the methods of self-assessment. There are several items. The first is to know your personal ability, correctly understand your swimming and water skills, including diving, floating, flotation, and so on. Choose water activities based on your ability. Secondly, consider your health condition. Consider your health condition, including heart, breathing, and physical condition. If there are any potential health risks, you should seek medical advice. The third is to choose appropriate equipment. Depending on the needs of the water activity, choose appropriate safety equipment such as life jackets, flotation boards, buoys, etc. to provide additional safety support. Fourthly, set goals. Define your goals and expectations before the water activity. Know what you want to get out of the activity and whether you are capable and prepared. If you are participating in an aquatic activity with others, discuss your abilities and plans with them. Make sure you have a clear understanding of each other's expectations and abilities. Sixth is to remain humble. don't be overconfident, as overconfidence can lead to risky behavior and danger. Remain humble and alert at all times. Lastly, adjust your plan according to the changing water environment. Don't force an activity if the conditions are not suitable. The second component of watershed safety, environmental assessment, is described next. Environmental assessment plays a vital role in water safety and helps participants to better understand the water environment so that they can take appropriate safety measures. There are four main roles of environmental assessment. Firstly, risk prediction. Environmental assessment helps participants to predict potential hazards and risks, such as strong currents, unstable bottoms, etc. The assessment also helps them to make informed decisions about their own safety. This enables them to make informed decisions to ensure their safety. Secondly, adaptation. Understanding the environmental characteristics of the water helps participants to adapt to the prevailing conditions. They can adjust their activities and movements according to currents, depths, etc. to minimize possible risks. Thirdly, the selection of activity areas. Through environmental assessment, participants can choose suitable activity areas and avoid entering areas that may be more dangerous, such as deep water or areas with faster tidal flow. Lastly, safety planning. Based on the results of the environmental assessment, participants can formulate a more effective safety plan to ensure that they have a strategy to cope with emergencies. The necessity of environmental assessment lies in the following points. The first one is to prevent accidents. Environmental assessment helps to discover possible dangers such as undercurrents, underwater obstacles, etc., which in turn prevents participants from getting into dangerous situations. Secondly, to avoid environmental risks, environmental assessment can help participants avoid entering areas with high environmental risks, thus reducing the chance of drowning and other accidents. Thirdly, it increases alertness. Through environmental assessment, participants will be more alert to their surroundings and will not take things lightly, so that they can respond to any changes in a timely manner. Lastly, it increases self-confidence. Knowing that one understands the environment and is capable of adapting to it can increase participants' self-confidence and make them feel more at ease in the water. How do you conduct an environmental assessment? First, observe the water. Before entering the water, stop and observe your surroundings. Note the speed and direction of the current, whether the water is calm, and whether there are waves or eddies. Second, assess the depth of the water. Measuring the depth of the water is critical to determining safe and dangerous areas. Use a ruler or other tool to measure the depth of the water to determine if it is suitable for your activity. Third, identify obstacles. Look at the bottom of the water for possible obstacles such as rocks, weeds, driftwood, etc. These obstacles may be a problem for swimming and other activities. These obstacles can be dangerous for swimming and other activities. Understand tides and currents. If you are in tidal waters, learn about the changes in the tides and the direction of the currents to avoid unintended impacts. Evaluate the weather. Consider the weather conditions on the day, including wind strength and temperature. Strong winds may increase the risk of water activities. Sixth, pay attention to the sky and water. Observe changes in the sky and water for signs of storms. Thunderstorms are extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. Know your rapids and undercurrents. If you are in an area with rapids or undercurrents, pay special attention to these areas. Rapids and undercurrents can lead to unpredictable conditions. Consider water temperature. Water temperature has an impact on the safety of water activities. Water temperatures that are too cold or too hot can have adverse effects on the body. Choose the right area. Based on your assessment, choose the right area for your activity. Avoid dangerous areas such as deep water or rapids. Lastly, keep observing. During the activity, keep observing the changes in the environment, especially the changes in weather and water flow. Be prepared for any changes. Moving on to the third component, the ability to self-rescue is an indispensable skill in water safety. We will explain what self-rescue skills are and why they are so important. Participants will learn basic flotation and floating skills, as well as demonstrations and instruction on self-rescue in freshwater rivers, such as rolling to the surface and other techniques. Self-rescue is a person's ability to take appropriate action to protect his or her life and safety in the event of a danger or emergency in the water. This includes skills such as staying afloat in the water, rolling to the surface, and staying calm. The importance of self-rescue skills in water safety includes the following, the first being self-protection. Self-rescue skills enable participants to take appropriate action to protect themselves from harm when danger occurs. This reduces the risk of drowning and other accidents. Self-confidence. Learning self-rescue skills increases a participant's self-confidence. Knowing that they are capable of responding to potentially dangerous situations makes them more confident in the water. Fear reduction. Self-rescue skills can reduce fear of the water. Participants are more likely to relax and enjoy the water, knowing that they can cope with difficult situations. Adaptability. Self-rescue allows participants to adapt and cope in a variety of water environments. Whether it's a swimming pool, a beach, or a freshwater river, participants are better able to cope with potentially dangerous situations. Fifth is helping others. Self-rescue not only contributes to personal safety, it also enables participants to help others. When others are in danger, those with self-rescue skills can provide assistance and minimize the risk of an accident. Sixth is responding to accidents. Even with a good plan, accidents can happen. Self-help skills enable participants to respond more quickly and effectively when accidents occur, reducing injuries. There are 5 types of self-rescue: rhythmic breathing, jellyfish floating, back floating, treading water, and life jacket use. The following video will illustrate the various self-rescue maneuvers. The next step is how to use a life jacket. The first step is to put on the life jacket correctly. Make sure that the life jacket is properly fitted and not too loose or too tight when wearing it. Check that buckles, zippers, etc. are fastened to ensure that the life jacket provides maximum buoyancy when needed. Secondly, adjust the straps. life jackets are usually fitted with adjustable straps that can be adapted to your body shape. Make sure the straps are fastened, but not so tight as to affect comfort and movement. Thirdly, ensure coverage. The life jacket should cover your chest and back to ensure adequate buoyancy. If there is a collar, make sure it doesn't obstruct your vision or breathing. Fourthly, test it in the water. If you need to get into the water, test the buoyancy of the life jacket in shallow water first. Make sure you stay afloat and that the life jacket works correctly. Fifthly, keep it on. Always keep your life jacket on when you are in the water. Even if you're a strong swimmer, a life jacket provides an extra layer of safety. The last of the four components is rescue capability. In addition to self-rescue skills, we also need to understand how to help others. We will introduce the concept of rescue capability, including basic rescue gestures and methods. Participants will learn how to perform simple rescues in freshwater rivers, including the use of tools such as life rings. Rescue capability is important in water safety for 4 reasons. The first is emergency response. In the water, unexpected situations can occur at any time. A person with rescue skills can act quickly in an emergency to prevent the danger from growing. The second is protection of life. The ability to rescue enables participants to help others in danger and protect their lives and safety. Thirdly, it reduces the impact of accidents. Someone who is able to provide timely assistance can reduce the impact of an accident and prevent injuries from occurring. Fourth is creates a safe environment. The presence of someone with the ability to rescue creates a safer environment for the entire aquatic program and increases participant confidence. Basic rescue skills. We will be teaching the following 2 topics: rope throwing rescue and flotation devices. Rope throwing rescue steps include the following, starting with assessing the situation. Before performing a rope throwing rescue, assess the situation and determine the location and condition of the person being rescued. Make sure you are safe and do not venture into dangerous areas. Next, obtain a rope. Prepare a rope that is long enough, strong enough, and buoyant enough to reach the rescued person. Stand still in a safe position and make sure your feet are on the ground so that you are stable enough to throw the rope. Throw the rope to the rescued person using the appropriate force and technique. Make sure the rope reaches them accurately and is within their grasp. Fifthly, the rescued person grasps the rope. The rescued person should try to hold on to the rope as long as they can to ensure that they remain afloat. Pull back slowly. Pull back on the rope at a slow and steady pace to guide the rescued person to a safe position. Avoid applying sudden force as this may result in rope breakage or injury. Rescuer assistance. If the rescued person is able to swim on their own, they should cross the rope and reach safety with the assistance of the rescuer. Eighth is continue to monitor. After the rope throw, continue to monitor the rescued person to ensure they are safe and provide support and assistance as necessary. The next step is how to make the flotation device. The first step is to find the right materials. Look for discarded materials on the beach, such as foam boards, plastic containers, etc. Make sure that these materials are strong and have sufficient buoyancy. Make sure these materials are strong and have enough buoyancy. Next, secure the material. Use a rope or lanyard to secure the debris to your body and make sure it stays afloat. When a drowning victim is rescued, emergency measures should be taken. The following is a simplified version of the CPR procedure. When it is necessary to perform simple cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, the following steps can be followed. 1. Call for the injured person immediately assess the injured person's condition. Rub or shake the casualty and call their name aloud to see if there is a response. If the casualty does not respond, they are unconscious. 2. Call. For an ambulance, immediately call an emergency number, example, 911, and request an ambulance. If there is a bystander, assign someone to make the call and be sure to provide a clear address and the condition of the injured person. 3. Compression. Chest compressions are now initiated. First, lay the victim flat on her back on a hard surface. Standing beside the victim, place one hand on the other with the palm facing the victim's sternum and fingers interlocked. Apply pressure to the sternum with the weight of the upper body, not the arm. The rhythm of the compressions should be 100 to 120 per minute, and the depth of each compression should be at least 5 centimeters, about 2 inches. Continue compressions until ambulance personnel arrive or until the victim regains consciousness. 4. Electric shock. If an automated external defibrillator, AED, is available, use it immediately. Following the AED's voice instructions, place the shock patch on the victim's chest and press the button to check the heart rhythm. If the AED recommends a shock, make sure everyone stays away from the victim and press the shock button. If the AED does not recommend electric shock, continue compressions on the chest. Continue to take turns compressing and using the AED until paramedics arrive, the victim regains consciousness, or you are unable to continue. Remember, CPR is an emergency and can save lives. Keep learning and updating your CPR skills in case of an emergency. Thank you for listening to this lesson on water safety.